The battle really starts within ourselves. And that's where we all need to, take a step back, look inside. If we are sort of nagged with any thoughts in our head, and that's where you should go back to and start thinking about, okay, what am I trying to achieve here? What am I trying to do here? So it's the inner critic, it's the inner battle that you need to conquer at the very beginning before you start on any journey, specifically a journey within sales as a career. This is the reason why we're all here. I lift as I climb, and that's what I believe in, that as we all climb our individual mountains, our individual hills, if we are able to pull up our friends, our women colleagues, our peers, our subordinates, I think we're kind of, we form this sort of a human chain where you're climbing, so it's great for you, but at the same time you're lifting somebody along with it. It is like a good deed was done to you, and this is your way of paying it back. So I thought this was an appropriate slide or title to sort of put on the opening slide. You can dream of the biggest things in your life and in your mind, but then what stops us from achieving everything that we're dreaming about? What stops us? What are our fears? And one of the things is, what are people thinking? So, I found this quote on your screen from Steve Jobs, none other than Steve Jobs. And I just felt that it was so appropriate. It was something that we all face. And I'm going to read it out for the group on the call today. Is, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of others people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. That was Steve Jobs, and we all see where it landed him. We all need to um, inculcate this habit of listening to our inner voice, because that's where truth lies. I believe nobody else knows us as well as we ourselves. We know exactly what we're capable of, and sometimes we ourselves, try and, our mind kind of tricks us. It tells us that this is too hard for you, this is too difficult. What are others going to think? What are our parents going to think? What are our life partners going to think? What are our colleagues going to think? So all of this battle, when we're making critical decisions in our life, is happening inside us. So that's where you need to conquer your first battle, inside your own head. There are certain voices, I believe, that one needs to encourage within, again, our own head. Now, this is all happening inside us. This has nothing to do with, it has to do with our society, it has to do with the way we've been brought up, but I think we can drown out some of that if we encourage these voices inside our head. Our voice around our beliefs, what do we believe in? Our self-worth, are we really worth it? Do we take the pains? Do we invest in ourselves? Is our self-worth high? Do I believe I'm the best? Confidence, if I believe I am different, do I have the confidence to shout that out? Do I have the confidence to take my difference and celebrate it? That's confidence for me. Tenacity. We all know, we're all saleswomen, and we all know how important persistence and tenacity is to our careers. You have to be assertive. When you believe in something, again, it goes back to your belief. When you believe in something, make sure you're firm and you're assertive about it. You get your point across in the best possible way without hurting anybody, without insulting anybody, but make sure you get your point across firmly, that people sit up and listen to you. And then, of course, at the end of the day, success or no success, applaud your work, because you know how hard you have worked throughout the day, how hard you have worked throughout the year, and how hard you have worked in your life to get here. And these are some of the voices that you need to ignore, you need to discourage, whether it is failures, whether it is fears, whether it is social stigmas. Women can't do sales. You're not going out with clients. You're not going out to a meeting where there are all men. What are people going to say? Stereotypes. You don't have women in sales. Women don't do this. Women don't go out and have a client dinner. Women don't travel alone. Stereotypes. But then again, there are some things which we box ourselves in, like our comfort zones. You have to push yourself and go out there and break those glass ceilings. You have to get yourself out of those comfort zones. And you know, while you're doing this, there's also a parallel thing happening outside of you, which is you are visible as a person, as a daughter, as a friend, as a colleague to other women. When you start encouraging and discouraging or ignoring these voices, there's also a very strong message that you're sending out there, that please don't take me lightly, that I am going to go out and achieve what I think I'm worth. I'm going to go out there and achieve what my dreams are. So all this is happening in parallel, right? And then the moment you start speaking your mind or standing up for what you believe in, you're labeled as aggressive. That's most importantly, I think we don't do enough of this. And that is, when you see a woman doing a good job, tell her she's doing a good job. When you admire something about her, tell her. Tell her that she's doing great, that she should do more of it. Tell her how she can impact, influence other women around her, and get in the habit of lifting each other up. I lift as I climb. And then at the end of the day, you will realize that since you are recognizing, rewarding yourself, you are applauding yourself and others, you're getting a lot more back, because what you give out comes back to you. That's just the law of nature. And so if you love yourself, if you encourage some of those voices and discourage the other voices that we spoke about, I think you will see a lot more love coming back to you. And that's what we all need. I have to tell that to myself every day, that I can do it. And it's just not by thinking that I can do it that things happen. Obviously, I have to work for it. I have to manage, organize, I have to delegate, I have to, and at times I have to just, I just have to be happy with failures, that, okay, I wanted to do this today and I wanted to do this quarter and it did not happen. But I think what the redeeming factor for me always has been that, that I just found enough strength within myself to pull myself up and say, okay, if it didn't happen this time, it's going to happen the next time. You have to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you cannot really measure that whether you achieved something or you didn't. So have a plan for everything. And plans fail and things break down and chaos happens, but that's okay. That means you're living. That means you're normal, you know? So that's, I would say that's my message to everybody. Find your normal. Find what gives you happiness. And that could be just sitting and listening to a song or reading a book. Make sure that you hold yourself important enough to invest that time, that your happiness is important. And then everything else will fall in place. You just have to, you know, be brazen and just, you know, find your own formula that works for you and go for it. And just keep your single-minded focus. And I don't think there's anything to fear.